On the seventh day, again, Shoshi would not budge. "You are stubborn, Shoshi," Yohanan cried, "stubborn as an ox." Later that day, Yohanan was walking alone when he noticed a familiar figure in the distance. It was Simon. Yohanan waved to Simon. Simon's prayer shawl billowed in the wind as he sailed after his prancing grandchildren. The prayer shawl seemed to lift Simon up over the hills. Shabbat, Yohanan thought. Today must be Shabbat, the day when Simon and the other Jewish farmers do not work. Today is also the day when Shoshi will not work. Yohanan realized she works for 6 days and then she refuses to budge. He shook his head. Could it be? She is only an ignorant beast, and yet... Yohanan ran to Shoshi. He stared at the little ox as she napped in the straw. "I am a clever man," he thought. "She is a simple ox. Yet I work 7 days a week with no day to rest, no day to give thanks. Perhaps Shoshi is the clever one." That afternoon, Yohanan's children gave Shoshi sweet hay to eat and cool water to drink. They played hide and seek with her among the big trees. Never again did Yohanan work on the Shabbat, nor did Shoshi, nor did any of Yohanan's other animals. Instead, every Shabbat, Yohanan strolled with his family in the olive grove. He breathed the sweet air and listened to the chattering of birds and the humming of bees. He smiled at his children's silly songs. Yohanan rested. He gave thanks. So did Shoshi. The end. Wasn't that an amazing story? Now I want to show you all a video about a Christian pastor named Nikolai Panchuk and an ox who also in real life kept the Sabbath.
Nikolai Panchuk was a Christian pastor who got sentenced to a Siberian prison for hard labor. Nikolai was a faithful Sabbath keeper, which meant he wouldn't work on Saturdays. This got him into all kinds of trouble at the prison camp. Each time he refused to work on Saturdays, he was confined inside a small wooden box for 10 days. Now, this nearly killed him, yet he still remained faithful to his convictions about the Sabbath. After being confined in the box several times, Nikolai was finally able to make a bargain with one of the wardens. Here's the deal he was offered. If he could get all his week's work done in 6 days, he could have Saturdays off. Unfortunately, he was given the job of hauling water for the camp. He was to drive an ox with a cart all the way down to the spring to draw water, then haul it back up to the camp. The problem was with the ox. The ox was stubbornly slow, and the more he tried to motivate the beast, the slower it would go. So he was constantly behind on his work, and by Thursday, he was so far behind schedule that it looked impossible to get his 7 days' worth of work done in only 6. But when Friday came, something unusual happened. The ox could hardly wait to get to work, and as soon as it was hitched up to the cart, it started to run. To and from the spring, it continued running all day long, so that just before the sun set on Friday, Nikolai got all the water hauled for the entire week, and he got Saturday off. This continued every week. The ox would be slow Sunday through Thursday, but it would run on Friday. And even after Nikolai Panchuk was released from prison, the ox continued the same pattern each week with the new prison worker.
Isn't it amazing that even animals can learn to keep the Sabbath? Let's go ahead and pray now. Dear Jesus, thank you so much for giving us the Sabbath. Please help us to remember to keep it holy by resting and spending time with our family and friends and with you. And please help us to always remember to give thanks for all the wonderful things you have given us. In your name I pray, amen.